Hey folks, and welcome back, and in today's video we'll be looking into how actually we can work with Kafka Streams. So for this we will use this Spring Cloud Streams Kafka Streams dependency to work with Kafka Streams. Now we will explore how we can do aggregation, joining and simple enhancement of the stream. So with this, let's get started. Now to create this particular project, what we are going to do is we are going to include the stream dependencies. So we are going to include this cloud stream, and then we are going to include the Kafka binders. So first of all, we are going to include the Apache Kafka Streams. So this will help us to work with Kstreams, and then we need a binder. So for this, we are going to add this Spring for Apache Kafka. Now, if I explore this particular dependencies, you will see that you have this binder, and then we have this binder Kafka Streams. But if you're just using Kafka just to send messages and consume messages, only the binder is more than enough. Using the Spring Kafka Streams, you can just send messages using just the binder. Only if you're working with Kstreams, that's the time you will need this particular binder dependency for Kafka Streams. Just remember this part. Now I have this particular project, so let's look into this. So if I go back to my dependencies here, you will see that I have just the binder, and then I have the binder for the Kafka Streams, and this is all that I actually need right now. Now let me go back to my application here. So today we'll be doing some kind of processing. So let's look at this. So I have this particular producer which produces this particular JSON. It has a particular key which is the department, and then this is going to be a string. Then it has a particular value which has a name like John, and then afterwards it has a department, say tech. Now this I'm going to use the producer to actually produce to the first topic, and then after that I'm going to have Kafka Streams to, or basically Kstreams, to have two kind of modifiers. So I have this enhancer here which will actually take this particular input from the first topic and then move it to the second topic, but in this enhancer is going to replace this particular JSON to this particular name. Now this aggregator, what it's going to do is that it's going to aggregate the messages that come from the first topic for every 10 seconds and give out the number of messages per department. So as you can see, it will give out like for this particular key which is tech, and then afterwards it will tell us that there were 2 messages for this particular tech department. Now what it's going to do is this aggregator is then post its message to the third topic, while the enhancer is going to publish it to the second topic. And then finally what we are going to do is we are going to actually join into this particular third part. So in this third part, we are going to actually join based on the key, and then we are going to send it to the fourth topic. So I will start step by step. So first thing, we are going to look at this particular producer. So this producer is going to now publish the first topic. So let's look at that part. So I have this particular producer here. So what I need to specify is this producer. This is a function name that I have given, and here I have this my event. Now what is this my event? Now my event is just a record which has a name and a department. The department is a particular enum here. So now coming back here, what we have is we are putting this particular message builder. We are using this Spring message builder to actually build this particular message, which will contain the payload that is my event, and it's going to have this particular header key which is my department. Now this department that I'm generating like basically at random values. So I have this random function here which actually generates random departments for me, whereas the name is going to be Jack. Sorry, it's not John, it's Jack. So this particular bean will be actually called every second to actually start emitting this particular message into the first topic. So we are actually just discussing about this part. We are just posting to the first topic. So now let's look at the properties. So now in the properties, what we are doing is we are actually providing this particular binding. So we have this producer here, producer out, which actually matches this particular function that we had given here. This is the producer bean that we are creating right now, and this is what it has to match to. So producer out telling us that we are actually sending out a message, and the parameter is 0. So the 0th index is the parameter that we are actually sending out. Since Java has only one output parameter, this is going to be 0. So this is actually the first topic on which we are actually going to send this particular message. Now in the binding section, which actually comes under Spring Cloud Streams Kafka bindings, here we're going to specify this particular binding, and we are going to specify some producer configuration. So here we are specifying that the key serializer is going to be this particular string serializer from Kafka. And with this, we can actually send messages onto the first topic. So let's actually start this particular application. And I have this particular listener. So this is a Kafka console consumer with the topic first topic. And this should actually now start listening to the events that have been sent by the application. So now the application is sending this particular events here. So you can see that it has finance. So this is the key, whereas this is the value. So here actually it is actually showing us the key and the value. So let's reduce this to show only the part about the key and the value. So I'm not going to include any kind of headers. So here we can have the particular key as well as the JSON value here. So now what we did is we were able to send messages to the first topic, right? Now let's look at the Kafka Streams part. So now from this first topic, we are going to look at the enhancer, which will actually take this particular message and reduce the value from this JSON to only the name. Okay. And the name will be the output here. So let's go back here. So now here, let's look at the enhancer. Let me stop this application. In the enhancer, what I'm doing is I have this particular function which takes in a Kstream, and this Kstream has a string of my event, and then afterwards this Kstream is going to be an input key of string and an output key of string. Now this is just going to enhance that particular stream, and it's going to post it to a different topic. So what I'm doing here, I'm just taking the input and then the input stream, that is this stream, and then afterwards I'm just mapping it to a new value. So I have the map value here, and I'm just taking the value, and then I'm taking the value dot name. So this will just extract out the name from the JSON and then send it out to this particular new stream. Now let's look at the configuration part. So let's go to the application.yaml. I'm going to enable these properties. So here I'm specifying that create an enhancer. So with the input with the first index as the first topic, and the output is going to be the second topic. So the input is going to be this, and the output is going to be this second topic. Okay. So this is the binding that we have created. Now we need to actually include the property. So for this, we can enable these particular properties here. So let me enable these. So since now we have the consumer, we can specify that. So this is the key serializer and deserializer. And for the values, we have this particular deserializer. So now this deserializer is what we have here. So let's look at the deserializer. So I have this converter here, and in my converter section, I have this my event deserializer. I'm going to copy this from here, and I'm going to now paste it here. So with this, it's going to use this custom deserializer to actually deserialize my event. And then finally, I'm telling the producer to not to include any kind of type information in the headers. So I'm putting this particular configuration. I've tried it that you don't need this. So I can even comment this out. Unless you're actually providing some kind of custom properties, you don't need to actually specify this particular bindings here. So I don't need this specific property. So I'm going to comment this out. Right now I need these two. So I will keep these two here. Okay. So remember, this is coming under the stream Kafka streams and then bindings. Okay. So there's usually a confusion between this binding and this binding here. So this binding is not under the streams thing, but this binding is below the streams properties. Okay. So now with this, what we are going to do is we also have to provide this particular definition here. So this actually registers that particular bean for this particular function to actually work. So I'm going to put this enhancer here and then make sure that we have a bean enabled. So I have this bean which is enabled. So because I put in the bean annotation on top of it. And with this, let's actually start the application and see what happens. I need another window on which I need to actually listen to this particular event. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to copy this particular command. And let's actually look at the enhancer output. Here I'm going to specify the second topic, and let's look at the output. So in the second topic right now, if you see, the output shows that this is the key, that is business, and the value is Jack. So with this, actually we can see the output of the enhancer for the second topic. So you can read the second topic here, whereas this is the first topic here. Okay. So now what what we achieved is that we got this particular enhancer producing to the second topic. Let's look at the aggregator now. So I'm going to stop this now and let's look at the aggregator. So the aggregator function is a little bit complex. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to aggregate all the events in a time window of 10 seconds and then I'm going to count based on the key. So what I'm doing here is, first of all, I'm using this peak actually to see if what are the values that are coming in. I don't need it, so I'm going to comment this out right now. And then I'm going to have this particular group by. So it's going to group by all the keys and then it's going to window it within the 10 seconds here. Now within the 10 seconds, you will get this particular aggregation window. Now what is the aggregation that I'm trying to do? So you could do a count here, but now I'm just explicitly doing this aggregation manually here. So I'm going to specify my initial value of the count is going to be 0. And then I'm going to specify the aggregation value. So in the aggregation, I have the key and the value, and I'm just going to increase the aggregate or the count that I have to. So if I get 5 messages with the key tech and then in the 10 seconds time window, so this aggregator will keep on adding up till 5 to get the count here. And then finally, you need to materialize this particular information. So I'm specifying that my key is a string and my value is basically a long value. So this will actually generate a k table which will be persisted into another topic. And then finally, I need this particular suppression here so that you can actually do the aggregation and not just keep on emitting events. If you don't put this particular suppression, what happens is it will keep on putting the output, whatever it knows in the k table, in the output stream here. So what happens is it will not give you the correct values within that particular 10 seconds, but it will keep on sending the information as and when it collects it. So what we need is we wanted to aggregate it, get it to one 10-second window and then send the final result, not the intermediate results of the aggregation. That's why we need to put this particular suppression here so that it does the aggregation within the window and then sends out the message. And finally, what we are doing is we are converting it to a stream. And then we are mapping it to a particular key value pair. So the key is basically the key that we have. So we have this value coming from the Kstream. And then finally, we're converting actually the particular integer into a particular string here. So we are converting the long value that is coming here. We are just putting it into a string here. This is just a basic example to show you how you can do aggregation. Now with this, what you need to do is, let's go to the properties section. Now in the properties section, what I'm going to do is I have to add my aggregator binding. So I have this aggregator. So in my aggregator, I'm specifying that my input is first topic and my output is third topic. This is the same thing as what we did for the enhancer, in 0 and out 0. So now with this, what we're going to do, we're going to go to the binding section. So now here what I'm going to do is I'm going to specify these particular key and the value serializer. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to enable this particular aggregator here and I'm going to put in the input here. So now this is the input and this is going to be consumer, and I'm going to specify that this is the key serializer and the value serializer and deserializer. Now there is one more setting that I'm doing here is that in my binder, which is below this particular string Kafka Streams binder, I'm specifying that the commit interval to be 2000 milliseconds. This is so that it actually starts emitting the events as soon as the aggregation completes. Otherwise, it will batch all the particular events and send it out at once. So that's what I'm doing this. This is an optional parameter, but so that you can see the output clearly right now. So now with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start the particular application. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to this particular topic. So let me actually register a console consumer and I'm going to specify the third topic. So now I'm listening to my third topic, and as you can see, it is actually already generating the events. So now for that 10 seconds, it has figured out that this were the aggregations that were being done. Now this is for the next set. So for the product key, there were 6 events. For finance, there was 1. For business, there were 2, and there was 1 for tech. If you see, the sum of all these were 10 because a message was sent every second. So in 10 seconds, there were 10 messages. Similarly, if you see the count here, it is around 10 seconds. Now, if you see for the third one, this is also coming to 10 events. So now what we have done here, we have done 2 things. So let's look at these. Produce the message enhanced it, put it into second topic, then aggregated it from the first topic and put it into the third topic. Now we are going to look at the final step. That is, we are going to join these based on the key. We have this tech key and we have the tech key from second topic and the third topic. We're going to join this, and this join is going to be a multiplication. So what we're going to do in this join is that we're going to have a join window of 10 seconds. And in that 10 seconds, whatever messages come from the second topic and the third topic, we're going to join them by doing a multiplication. So this is basically what you do using a full join in your MySQL database. And now what this would look like if we get 2 events from, say, the second topic and we get 3 events from the third topic, the multiplication leads to 6 events in total. So the output would be actually 6 events as a part of the join operation. So let's look at how we can do this actually. So I'm going to go back to my function here, and here I have this particular join function. So I have this join here, and what does this do is this is a by function which takes in an input which is a string, which is a Kafka stream, and again the second input as the Kafka stream again, and the output is going to be a Kafka stream, but this time it's going to have a string and a joint value. Now here I'm doing basically a joint operation. So I have input 1, input 2. I'm taking input 1, I'm joining it to input 2, and then here I'm specifying a joiner. The values from both the inputs are going to be joined here, and I'm going to use this joint value which will actually join the 2 values. And then finally I'm specifying here this particular join window. So here I'm specifying the 10 seconds of join window that we need, and within that 10 seconds the values will be actually joined together as part of this particular joining function. Now if you see this third part here, this is something that you need actually to specify, otherwise it will start giving you errors, because whatever is being joined in this particular joined window, it needs to be put back into Kafka topic. So for this actually you need this particular serializer and deserializer. If you have custom ones, you would have to create custom ones. Right now I'm using the string default one, so I'm using the serializer deserializer for string. So this one is for the key, this one is for the value, for the first value, and this one is for the second value. Finally, I'm just doing a small peek so that we can see the output on our console also. So this is simple join. It's a multiplication operation, doing a normal join as how we would do in a MySQL database. Let's go back to the properties now, and let's look at what we need to do here. So now here, let's first of all add this particular binding function. So we're going to add this join in. So if you see here, now we have a little bit of a difference here. We have join in 0, which is going to be the second topic. We have join in 1 now because we have another input parameter. So this is going to be 1, and this is going to be the third topic that we have right now. And we are taking an input. So let's look at the diagram again. So we have second topic as the first input, third topic as the second input, and the fourth topic is going to be our output. So that's what we are doing here. So we have this join out to be 0. Now, if you see for the join out, we need to specify some properties. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable this join out 0 because we just need this one to be specified. You don't even need to specify the key serializer and a deserializer here because we already know that this is a default one that will be used. So if you have to specify something custom, you can actually enable these properties and specify them. But right now, if you see, I need only a value serializer here, which is my custom serializer. So this custom serializer is a JSON serializer. Let's look at this also. So we have this joined value serializer deserializer, which is just extending the JSON serializer deserializer for this particular joint value. Now what is this joint value? Joint value is nothing but a simple record that I created, which has this particular 2 strings. Let me actually rename this. This should be value 2 and this should be value 1. So now we have specified that the output will use this particular value deserializer, and with this now we are going to actually start this particular application. So we are actually taking the input 1, input 2, joining it over the 10 seconds window, and then afterwards we are going to send it to an output topic, which is going to be the key which is going to be the same key, whereas the joint value is going to be the joint values together. Okay. So now let's stop this application and let's actually start it back again. So in the meanwhile, let's go and open this and we are going to listen to the fourth topic. So now in my fourth topic, I should be now able to see the output here. So let's wait for around 10 seconds. And as you can see, it has actually now started actually emitting the joint values. So now the joint values are going to be a multiplication. So we would probably have approximately 10 into the number of aggregation events that we got. And this is the output that we are getting actually of this. So if you see here, let me stop this a bit. And you can see that we have Jack, the value, which is actually the aggregation of the values for business within that time of 10 seconds. And this is the output that we are getting. Now, this is not a usual use case that you would have of just doing the joins. But as a part of this particular video, I wanted to show you how you can do the joins, how you can do the windowing stuff, because this is something that would be interested to you. So you could have your own use cases and you can probably use this particular code. I will check this into this particular GitHub repo, as well as link the article which will contain all this information into the description below. So I hope you liked this particular video. So give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to this channel for more such videos to come. Till then, take care and I'll see you in my next one.